Greetings, family. Thank you for coming back to the Keys to Soul Powerhouse. I wanted to drop a quick soul deposit in you since we're now discussing this boycott that we have, and our good sister, Auntie Tab, has made a request. She's made a statement, a request. There's an issue with the way that we perceive African-centered consciousness. If we flush our decisions through African-centered consciousness, then that should be how we make our decisions. I want you to hear the nuance in what's being said. Greetings, family. It's your sister Nefera. Thank you for coming back to the Keys to Soul Powerhouse. Let me drop a quick soul deposit in you. We've seen the messages about the boycott and the people trying to come together to stand for their human and civil rights, as well as to get some more function within the system. We wasn't getting much function as it was, but that's a whole nother conversation. But Auntie Tab came through, and we have so much love for Auntie Tab and the work and her journey and her grind over the past 10 to 15 years, several decades of building into her current status. And she came across yesterday and she talked to us about the red tape, right? It's very difficult for us to get placements, our businesses and our brands, to get placements in some of these big box stores. And we know that all the landmines in the matrix are set up so that we can fail, because they're literally set up for us not to do well and for us not to have that continuity of support within our community so that we can grow in such a way. Those little, circumstances that occur every now and again are just a little bit of kindling to keep the wish going on, like $1 in a dream for the lotto. You know what I mean? The lotto ticket. Oh, $1 in a dream. So she says, for those that got in, we're going to do the boycott, but if you don't shop there at all and buy none of the products, including her own and some of the other Black entrepreneurs who have placement in these some of these businesses that we're going to be boycotting, particularly Target. She's asking that, well, if you do want to purchase, go in and just purchase the Black products, her products and the Black products. But if you don't, then she understands. And that's kind of like a little bit of a gray area, because to me, it looks like when you think of the reflex, what I know of clear African-centered consciousness, there's a reflex. There's an emotional strum, like I can strum your emotions. Since everyone loves Auntie Tab, I'm going to say, well, you guys go and purchase my things and go and purchase anyone else's things. But if you don't, I understand. So it's kind of like I'm putting a little tinge of, just kind of putting you on the spot a little bit and then calling together your emotions. This is what I told you, African, when I say sometimes it makes some sense, but it's African nonsense. And I say to you that you cannot gray area in this conversation of being a fully functional reanimated African. You can't really gray area. And this is the function. If you haven't read the United Compensatory Code system, it is this subtlety, which is why there's so many implants. I gave you a message about 4 or 5 years ago, and I asked her, are you an agent of the Matrix? See, this, although she came with good heart and frontal consciousness, her intention was good. But it wasn't good, right? It wasn't good because it didn't come from a fully functional reanimated African center. And it didn't come from the concept of what's good. The decision that has to be made for the benefit of all of us. Every decision you make as an African has to be made for the benefit of the entire group. So the decisions you make for yourself, your family, your experience, your circumstance, etc., doesn't really support just you alone. It's not just about you. And it also, the pain and the experience that you have and the deficits and the lack that you may have also belongs to the group. And it also, we are only strong as our weakest link. So those things, when you have that fully functional reanimated African consciousness, when you make decisions from the proper prism, you can differentiate where these things, and this is some place for us to be moving to. We are to be moving to repairing and decolonizing our African minds and strengthening our concept of what African-centered consciousness is so that we make proper decisions and analysis when we think, say, and add advice to our community. So what she said, while we love Auntie Tab, it was incorrect. It does not weigh out in African-centered consciousness. So while you're going to take a hit, while those other businesses are going to take a hit, I understand. But again, go back to United Compensatory Code System by Neely Fuller. There are ways in which the system manipulates the African. This is the purpose of a mulatto. This is the purpose of the elite Black elitist class. This is the purpose of meritorious manumission. There's a purpose and a function for these individuals, these Sambo. This is why they center these, the house Negro and the field Negro. There's a reason for this, so that you can always have that little tinge of emotional connection. We look the same, and there's so many of them out here. There's pretty much all of them are here. Most of them, when the moment comes, they're going to find a way to make it make sense to their consciousness. They're going to tell themselves whatever lies they need to tell themselves so that they can do whatever it is that they feel that they need to do, because this is also called learned helplessness. Because we don't have, if we have lack, then the lack is ours. If we have strength, the strength is ours. If we make decisions, it affects us all. Since we don't have this functional faculty within our community, some of us are going to always be willing to make a decision in a little gray area. And this is why the keys are so powerhouse. This is why I'm dropping this soul deposit into you, to bring it to your consciousness. It is our trek to build in whatever our lack is. It belongs to us all. We find solutions, we fix it. Whatever the strength is, we utilize that strength. We make that function and that faculty strong so that it continues to fortify us. Whatever our goals and decisions and aspirations are toward the future are not just our own, they belong to the entire group. That is an actualization of a strategy that we should be moving towards, and our function should be moving in that general direction. I'm not throwing anybody to the wolves. That's not my duty. I'm just giving you the balance. I'm giving you the fully functional reanimated African, flush it through the analysis, because a lot of things make some sense, but it's African nonsense. It sounds good and it comes in a nice little cute package, but it is all wrong. Sorry, and that's just what it is. So until we have a function within our community where we can see better, where we can analyze better, where we're not being deceived by those little tinges and those little emotional cajoling and things like that, then it's just all no, rigid, no gray area. It's all point blank, period, doesn't help or hinder. That's the bottom line. So again, I'm always talking about self-responsibility. I'm always talking about personal responsibility. So no, we don't get to go into Target and buy a few products. You don't get to go there at all. But what I'm saying to you is, be planning. Because you know, when you make a move, there's going to be a counter move. I'm not saying yay or nay either way. I'm saying that if it's in the best interest of the African to take his self-efficacy and not to be in spaces and places that don't value, respect, and support your life, which I'm 100% behind, any circumstance that does that, it is to you to make a responsible decision to remove yourself from that space. Point blank, period. That is the boundaries, and that is you honoring your life force. However, know that there will be a counter move, and you need to be prepared for whatever that counter move is. Yes, there's websites to purchase things. There, know how to grow your food, right? Build your small networks and communities and be able to do skill swaps and exchanges. Family, it's a different situation out here in these streets. So I'm going to need y'all to accelerate your consciousness and begin to really push through and decolonize this African mind, so we can get to this African-centered consciousness, so we can make viable, strong, committed decisions towards what's next for us. And hear this, what's next for us is not what's against someone else. So don't get that twisted. Don't have that be the tinge that sneaks into your mind. You are supposed to stand for your life force, because each one, if you believe in that, then God breathed into every man, woman, and child the breath of life, and then man became a living soul. So everyone has the breath of life, and everyone is equally the same. There are no big eyes and little U's. I don't do celebrity. I'm not a fangirl. I give every single person the exact same honor. Namaste, the divine in me, honors and respects the divine in you, and Sawubona African, I see into you every single soul. That's my prism, because I also have a fully functional reanimated African consciousness, right? And I want you to do the same, and I want you to have the same. And if you don't want to call it an African-centered consciousness, because I know there are family members here from all walks of life, there is good in this conversation. There is a function and a faculty of reawakening our humanity as a collective. So there is benefit for you here. So this has been our Keys to Soul Powerhouse Soul Deposit for today. I want you to really be reflecting on what's happening next in our landscape. Keep looking out. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, and come in for the videos. I am Nefera, your Minister of Learning and Development, your Pan-African Transformation Coach. Sawubona I see into you, African, and namaste. The divine in me honors and respect the divine in you. I'll see you next time.